Hi, this is Piano Lessons for Beginners, Lesson 2, Part 3. In Part 2, we learn how to do a little finger inversion chord, or as is conventionally known, a first inversion chord, which involves putting the little finger on the root note of the chord, and then the index finger and the thumb on the other two notes with a gap of 2 here. Now, in this third part, what we're going to do is we're going to practice using what I'm going to call the little finger inversion chord. The reason I call it the little finger inversion chord is because it's to remind us that the little finger goes on the key note, and it's really important that we always remember this. Basically, after a couple of years of really trying to play piano and learn how to do all my inversions, I found that I just was constantly struggling to remember which chord I was actually playing. But by calling it little finger inversion, you can always remember what chord it is just by immediately looking at the little finger, if you know that it's a little finger inversion chord. Now, in this part of the lesson, we're going to play Can't Hold Us by Macklemore, the basic chords, and we're going to use the little finger inversion. So it's an opportunity to practice the little finger inversion. So, first of all, I'm going to hold this up. So these are the chords of the key we're playing in C, and we've numbered them all, and we're going to use numbers rather than letters when we learn for now. So the 4 chords that are used for this Can't Hold Us Macklemore song are chord 6, chord 5, chord 3, and then chord 4. Now, basically what we're going to do is we're going to play each chord 4 times, which is a conventional bar. A bar normally has 4 beats, so we're going to play each chord 4 times, and this using the little finger inversion. It's a practice of the little finger inversion, but it also is nice to hear it in the context of the song. Now, the one other thing I'm going to mention really quickly is we're playing this in C. If you actually want to play this and you want it to sound exactly the same, in the same key as the actual Macklemore song, you need to transpose your keyboard. So it might mean finding the manual or looking the manual up on the internet. You can just try putting the name of your keyboard, the model number, and type in manual, and you'll probably find a PDF of your manual. And you need to transpose this in order for this C major to sound like the actual Macklemore song, which is in G major. You need to transpose the keyboard down 5 steps. So find the transpose function and then drop down 5 steps. But we're not going to do that. We're going to keep it in C major so that if you're playing on a piano, you'll be able to play along. Now, basically, first of all, this we're going to play. Is that all right there, Callum? Shall I turn that way a bit? Is that okay? Good. Yeah. Okay. So, we're going to play chord 6. So hopefully you've watched part 2, and you'll remember that you put your little finger on on note 6, and then in fact, let's just play thumb inversion first. So to play thumb inversion, you put your thumb on note 6, middle finger 2 up, little finger 2 up, and you play that 4 times. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's chord 6. We're then going to move to chord 5. This is the thumb inversion now, the first one you learned in lesson 1. And we're going to quickly do this before we go on to little finger inversion. So then we're going to go to note 5. You basically move your thumb, move the whole chord down, thumb's now on note 5, and you play this 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're going to go down to 3. So you move your thumb down to 3, play chord 3 4 times, and then you go up to chord 4, move up, thumb up to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, hopefully, you will have, if you've gone through lesson 1, you'll already know how to do thumb inversion. Let's just run through this a couple of times in case you haven't done lesson 1, just to make sure that you're able to play thumb inversion. So you put your thumb on the key note, you skip 2 notes, middle finger, skip another note, little finger, and the difficult thing is pulling that finger up. Hopefully, eventually, you'll learn to do that. So you play chord 6 4 times. I'm actually going to use the pedal as well, so put your foot on the pedal, and that lets the chords re-on. Actually, I'm not going to bother with the pedal today. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you move down to chord 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then down to chord 3. Thumb on 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then your thumb moves up to 4, and you play chord 4. Okay. Now I'm not going to go over the thumb inversion. I call this thumb inversion again because the thumb is on the root note. They actually call it in classical music, they call it a root position. But we're going to call it thumb inversion to remind you that your thumb is on the key note. Okay? So this is called thumb inversion, we're going to call it. Now, that's all I'm going to do with thumb inversion. We're going to concentrate the rest of this part on little finger inversion. But before we do that, let me play you the song using a thumb inversion chord. Simply starting on chord 6, you just got to do the rhythm, which I'll show you later on in a later part. But for now, I'll just play these 4 chords using thumb inversion. Okay, so. I'm actually going to move it down an octave because it sounds better down an octave. Can you see down an octave? Yeah? Okay, so that is playing the piece using thumb inversion. Now, I'll tell you in advance, the third inversion we're going to learn is middle finger inversion, and this sounds best when you use middle finger inversion. But that's thumb inversion for now. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do little finger inversion. Now, if you've hopefully watched part 2, you'll know that you put, for 6, you put your little finger on 6, you skip 2, index finger, goes on the next note, and then you skip 1, thumb goes on the next note. Make sure you've watched part 2 before you do this, or you probably won't be able to do it. So we're going to play each chord 4 times. So chord 6 using little finger inversion. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then down to chord 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shifting down to chord 3. So your little finger goes on to chord 3. Lock your hand, move down. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lock your hand, move up. And that's chord 4. So we're just following all of these chords each time. So 6, you put your little finger on 6, you play it 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lock your hand, move down to chord 5, little finger on chord 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lift, lock your hand, move your little finger down to 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Lift, lock your hand, move your little finger up to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I suggest you practice that over and over and over again until you get it perfect. Let's go a lot slower, because to start off with you need to play a lot slower. So I'm going to do it again but much slower. So little finger on 6, little finger inversions. So 1, 2, and play along with me. If you play along with me, that'll help you learn. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving to chord 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving down to chord 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Moving up to chord 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I suggest you keep playing that over and over and over. If you're getting stuck on any of the changes, for example, maybe that's easy, but going from 5 down to 3 is hard, you might just want to practice going from one to the other. 5, lift, lock the hand, move, 3. Lift, lock the hand, move, 5. Lift, lock the hand, move, 3. But the aim of this part of the process is that you learn to move to all of these chords perfectly. So I suggest you take some time to really make sure you can play this whole sequence using the little finger inversion perfectly. Okay? And I'll play you now at the end. If you want to add the rhythm to it, which I haven't shown you yet, I'll show you the rhythm at the end. But for now I'm just going to play you this using the little finger version with the rhythm so you can hear what it sounds like. So, let's go down an octave. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to go up an octave, back up here. There you go, and that's the Macklemore Can't Hold Us using little finger inversion. Now, in the next lesson, we're going to start looking at middle finger inversion, and you'll be pleased to know that when you use middle finger inversion, it sounds really similar to the actual song, which is really awesome, because if you've done this as a complete beginner, there's a possibility you might be playing this and it might be sounding quite a lot like the original song by the end of the next part. So that's the end of this part, and if you go onto my channel, hopefully now, you can find part this was part 3, wasn't it? So you're looking for part 4 next, and we're going to start looking at middle finger inversion, and then try and play this Macklemore using middle finger inversion, which will sound quite similar to this song. So yeah, look for part 4 now.